Hey everyone, welcome back to Ontario Gardening. So today, while I have these little baby chicks, I think they're 3 days old, we are going to go over 5 of the most common issues that you can run into medically with these little guys in your first couple weeks of having them. And this is just a troubleshoot guide. It's just good information to have, especially when you're very first starting hatching, or even if you get a bunch of quail from somewhere that they're having issues. And some of these things can be applied to chickens or other types of poultry as well. We just have quail. So I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between these guys in the computer to just show you some examples because I don't actually have any of the issues that we're going to talk about this time. I have had them in the past, and that's how I know how to deal with them. But we just kind of have worked out the kinks now on making sure they're nice and safe, and so we don't have those issues now. But I still want to show you what's up. So the first and most common thing, especially if you order chicks or get them from somewhere else pre-hatched, is pasty butt. And what pasty butt is basically the back of their bum is blocked up by poop, making it so that they can't go to the washroom anymore. And that is a huge issue because it backs them up. And obviously that's not good for them. They can die from pasty butt. Usually the most common reason that chicks get pasty butt is from either too hot or too cold of a brooder temperature. So just inconsistent brooder temperatures and wet or damp or unclean areas in their brooder. Other common problems with them is stress, and that's why a lot of your quail, if you have ordered them or gotten them in the mail or from somewhere else, can cause the pasty butt because they're just stressed out. And then poor diet. So if they're not on the proper food when they first come out, that can cause issues internally and cause them to have pasty butt. So you want to check for pasty butt pretty much from the beginning for the first 1 to 2 weeks. You're going to check them at least once a day. And you're going to check their back vent to make sure that nothing is blocked up. So I'm going to show you that. So when you're first handling quail, you're going to have to get used to it because they are very tiny and they're very quick and they're very fragile to hold. So it's kind of nerve-wracking. But we've got our baby here. And you just want to flip them over onto their back. And he's good. He's nice and clear. So if you weren't clear, I'll show you what that looks like. So a blocked vent would look like this. And it's a pretty easy fix, but you just have to be careful. So we're not going to want to just rip at it because you can literally pull their insides out or do some serious damage and they can die. You want to take a wet or damp paper towel, cloth, Q-tip, and gently get rid of the fecal matter slowly and surely, and just making sure it's nice and damp. Nothing's dry. We're not pulling at it. It's slowly coming off. And then when you're done, make sure that they're nice and fluffy but dry. You want to make sure that you're putting them back into their area clean and dry, and then just keep an eye on it from there. Pasty butt can happen quickly and it can be pretty detrimental, like pretty quickly. Like it happens fast. So just, you're really going to want to keep an eye on that. So that one happens pretty much immediately. Another two things that you're going to find immediately in your flock if there is an issue. The first one, and it's probably one of the most, even more common than this, is called spraddle leg. And that is basically when your quail's legs are all out of joint and they're not able to stand up. So their legs are not holding them up steady. And there's another word, it's called spraddle leg or splay leg, sorry. And yeah, they can't stand up. Their legs are just completely scissoring underneath them. So this one can be tricky to fix, but there is a way. And the reason you're gonna see that immediately is because it usually happens in the incubator. So the most common reason it happens is because they have slipped on a slippery surface, either in the incubator or in the brooder when you first put them in, or they've had some sort of injury to the leg. There is other reasons for this. So if they had a wrongful hatch where they came out the wrong way or they hurt their leg on the way out, if the parents had poor nutrition in their flock before they were fertilizing the eggs, and also like a fluctuation in the incubator temperature while they're incubating can cause this issue, but the most common is because of the slip. So there are two ways that are known to help this. And the most common is to take a Band-Aid and cut it lengthwise and wrapping the chick's legs in, just basically we're putting their legs together and then we are wrapping them in place. And we are leaving that for a couple days until the legs are basically forced to be in the right position. Here's kind of another look at how you would do that there. Now, you might want to get a second person to help you Band-Aid them because it is quite difficult. You can also use medical tape, but yeah, it's quite difficult when they're that small to get their legs to stay together. But that is one fix. Another fix is people put them inside of a shot glass. And they do that with their legs taped up, and this kind of forces them as well to stay in one position and make their legs kind of stick together. I don't think this one is as effective, and especially when you have chicks who need the heat lamp or the heat source when they're young, you're kind of forcing them out of that, and you're just kind of forcing them to stand there cold. The Band-Aid method is definitely better. Okay, another common issue is curled toes. So that is when they're coming out and their feet look all cramped up like they have arthritis. And that, for the most part, is usually incubator temperature problems when they are incubating, or sometimes it's a vitamin deficiency. But a lot of the times it's just from fluctuation in that incubator when they were coming out. So this is going to be another Band-Aid situation. And you will notice the curled toes right away, again, when they hatch, very similar to the spraddle egg. And we are going to make them sandals. I know that sounds crazy, but again, we're using Band-Aids or medical tape. If you don't have those on hand and you have to use some sort of tape from your house, please do not use duct tape. Use like a Scotch or a painter's tape that's easy to come off. If you use duct tape on their skin, it's going to be a mess to get off and it's probably going to hurt them. But basically, you're going to take a Band-Aid or medical tape or whatnot, and you're making them like flip-flops. And you're basically forcing the curled toe with the flip-flops to straighten themselves out. And you're going to want to leave those for a couple days. Take them off, similar to the spray leg. Couple days, take it off, see if it's corrected itself. If not, make another sandal. So a couple other of medical issues that you might run into that aren't as common and that you're not going to see as quickly. So like the spray leg and the curled toes, you're going to see that right away. The pasty butt's going to happen within the first week or two. And another thing that can happen in the first week or two is cognitive issues. So I don't know exactly, every quail's different, but you're going to notice right away that they're just not like the rest. And another issue that you might run into is something called wry neck, and that's a cognitive issue. And it's basically where they just can't keep their head straight. It's floppy, it's turned over. Maybe they can't even stand straight. They keep falling over. And this is not an issue, like it can be an incubator issue with improper temperatures, but a lot of the times this is genetic and it can't really be, it's improper breeding, it's bad genes, it's, deficiencies in both the parents and the baby. So a lot of the times it really just can't be helped. These can still live, we can still live with cognitive issues, even if your quail is like flighty and doesn't get along with the rest and just typical issues. They can live a long life. Wry neck, you're going to try and want to fix that. A lot of this, like I said, is improper breeding, but it could be vitamin deficiency as well. So try adding some vitamins to the water. And we're going to just keep an eye on them, really. There's not a whole lot you can do about the wry neck. Could be a call situation in the end if it's not able to get the proper life, the quality of life that the other ones are. And lastly, one of the most common issues is something called scissor beak. So this is a very mild case of scissor beak. If we're really going down, like it can get bad. Like it can get really, really bad. You're going to see it in the quail chicks, not as prominent. So what we want to do for this can impact their quality of life, especially if they can't eat, of course. This happens a lot of the times because of their genetics. or an injury inside of the egg. Maybe while they were hatching, they crushed their beak, or maybe the egg was accidentally dropped, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, there's a small chance that this is not going to be a fixable situation, but we can try. So what you can do is you're basically going to, when you have your quail chick in your hand, you're going to hold it like a burrito, and we are going to gently try, and I don't want to do this on my guys right now because it's just going to stress them out for absolutely no reason, but you're going to want to try and just hold the beak in place for a couple minutes a few times a day. This is basically like a physiotherapy, if you will, for your quail's beak. So we're going to try and hold it in place and see if that helps correct the situation. There are videos out there showing you how to trim a beak. That one's a little scary, especially when they're that small, but you basically take a small pair of nail clippers and you would come into the scissor beak and slowly, a millimeter at a time, carefully not to have them bleed out, and slowly try and fix that beak. And sometimes it's not going to happen. You can mush their food up, so you add a little bit of like yogurt or water to their food to help them eat. And if that's the case and they still can eat, then you can just leave it. If it's not causing them any pain or distress and they're still able to eat and everything's okay, then that's fine. But you just really want to be careful, and do not breed any quail or poultry at all that have scissor beak, because it is possible that it's genetic and they will pass it on. Now, I am going to talk about one thing that I have going on in my brooder right now that I have never seen before. And that is possible that we have something called, in one of our quail, called bulging eye. So this is exactly what it looks like, and I can see if I can get in there and show you guys. But one of my quail's eyes has an issue with its lower eyelid, and the eye is protruding bigger than the other eye. It looks like almost like it's being pushed out of its socket. So apparently this can be something that is genetic, and apparently this is something that is most common in white or silver, which makes complete sense because I'm pretty sure that this quail is the silver. So basically, I'm going to keep an eye on it. And if that is the case, because it might not be buggy eye, it might just be a case of the quail got pecked by accident or stuck with a pine shaving. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to see if I can show you guys. If not, this is exactly what it looks like. And if it is the case where it's a buggy eye situation, the mortality rate can be higher in those guys. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. Sometimes it doesn't affect his quality of life at all, but we don't want to breed, whether it's a male or female, we don't know yet, but we're not going to want to breed him with anybody else because it would be passed down. So we're going to keep an eye on that and assess the situation. I've never seen this before. This is something new. It's not common as much as the other things, but let's go see if I can take a look. Okay. I know, baby. See how it's a little bit buggy in comparison to the other ones? Yeah, so it might just be, just looking at it again, it might just be actually an injury because it does look a little watery. But again, he is either silver or white, so it's not a complete shock that he would be the one. But anyways, I hope that helps somebody. If you have any more questions, ask it below. Maybe just do a little bit of extra research, watch some other videos where people can actually show you wrapping. I just don't want to stress them out and put stuff on them that they don't need. But yeah, I hope that helps you. See you in the next Quail series video.